Welcome to In the Room, where we explore the elusive world of casting for film, TV, and commercials. Join us as we interview directors, writers, producers, and actors, taking a deep dive into their experiences with casting and how the ultimate decisions are made in bringing a story to the screen. Get an inside look at casting and find out what really goes on in the room.
All
okay,
right.
John's going to kick it off
I'm
today.
going to kick it off today, and I'm going to let you know what the internet says about you.
Great.
Today, in the room.
In the room. Hi, who are you?
I am John Williams. I'm a casting director.
I'm Heather Kafka. I'm an actor.
And today we have Austin Nichols. He has gained recognition for his versatile performances across film and television, with a career spanning several decades. Nichols has showcased his talent in various genres, earning a reputation of his compelling portrayals. He began his acting journey with appearances in TV series like The Walking Dead, One Tree Hill, and Friday Night Lights, where his charismatic presence and skillful acting were highly praised. Nichols also made significant contributions to the big screen, starring in movies such as The Day After Tomorrow, Wimbledon, and The Informers. This is where they get really nice about you. His ability to delve into complex characters and deliver nuanced performances has earned him a dedicated fan base and critical acclaim. Beyond acting, Nichols is known for his dedication to various philanthropic causes, using his platform to raise awareness and support for issues close to his heart. His passion for storytelling, commitment, and his craft to continue to define his career in the entertainment industry. And I have some interesting facts I found out about you. He's Dutch.
Ooh.
English, Swiss, German, Irish, Scottish, and Welsh descent. His favorite singer is Bob Dylan.
Hey.
His mother, Kay, if you don't mind me saying, was a professional trick water skier, and his father, David Nichols, is a radiologist. Graduated from the University of California. He has one older sister, and his dog is Otis. And I know this because of the Muni. His golf course in Austin is Lions.
That's right.
That's right.
All correct.
All
Wow.
correct.
He was also a pretty badass water skier himself.
I did not-
Oh, thank you. I mean, where'd you find that, first of all?
Internet,
I owe
baby.
I owe those people
Interwebs.
some money. That was very generous. And thank you for that intro.
Yeah.
And thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. Thanks for coming. So we always started off with, how the hell did you get into this business?
Yeah.
It's a funny story. It started here in Austin, Texas. And I grew up here, and I was in 8th grade, and my sister was a junior in high school, and she was dating a senior. And all these senior guys came over, and they go, "We're going to see this movie." I was like, "Great." And they took me with them, an 8th grader, sitting in the audience, never heard of the movie, don't know anything about movies. And I see in the theater with a bunch of high school seniors, Dazed and Confused.
Oh my God.
And I've never heard an audience laugh the way my sister's friends laughed. I saw my friends' houses. I saw the baseball fields we used to hang out at. I saw Cole Hauser and Ben Affleck drive a truck across my friend's yard, Garrett Meeker. And I saw that this was something that was possible, because as a kid before, you just go, "Oh, that's a movie, that's a TV show. That's not real.
Yeah.
That's not something you can do." And I saw my town, and I saw, Wiley Wiggins, who went to high school with my sister. And I said, "Oh my God, you can do this."
Yeah.
And that's where it started. And I started taking acting classes here in Austin.
Who'd you start with?
Bright Lights Acting Studio.
Okay. That's Mona Lee,
Mona,
right? Yeah.
Michael, and Tony. I worked with all three of them, took all their classes. And, there wasn't much work here then.
Mm-mm.
And I remember getting an audition for The Faculty for Robert Rodriguez.
Mhm.
And then I went out of town for spring break, and we come back, we didn't have cell phones, and we come back and the agency's been frantically trying to reach me because Robert Rodriguez wants you to come in for a callback. And I was like, "What's a callback?" And I go in, and he had his bandana on, and he might've had a cowboy hat on too. And I was so scared and awestruck by him. And I was 17, and it felt like the first real thing.
Yeah.
Because there'd been some like commercial auditions.
Industrials, lots of industrials.
Yeah, there wasn't really anything.
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, this is what it's like," and it just kept growing in me and growing in me. And when I went snow skiing with my family in Utah, in Park City, and my dad said, remember, I'm 17, I don't know anything.
Yeah.
my dad said, the Sundance Film Festival is going on right now. And I go, what's that? And so I left dinner and snuck into a party with my sister. And I see this woman staring at me. And it was a little weird because she kept staring at me and she's much, much older. I was like, oh, this is odd. And she finally comes up to me and she says, are you an actor? And I said, yes, I'm an actor. I was so, cocky. And she said, you have a film here. And I just started laughing. And I was like, no, I mean, I've never made a movie. And she goes, well, I think you're great or whatever. And, I want to talk to you about representing you. She was a manager. And when I left she said, go get your parents. I want to meet them. So I went back down the stairs, and at the bottom of the stairs, there were 2 agents waiting there. And they said, are you Austin? And I said, yes. He says, well, we talked to Joan, and if she's in, we're in, and we want to be your agents. And I was like, what is going on?
Oh my God.
Dude, that's serendipitous.
The luckiest thing that ever happened to me. So I was planning to go to UT and do radio, television, film. I was enrolled. I'd gotten in. I was ready to go to college and do that here. And we went out, my mom and I went out to LA to audition for this manager, Joan.
Okay.
Joan Green.
And your parents were cool. They were like, some strange lady wants to meet you.
Yeah, they were excited too. My parents were never kind of the ones who were like, this is a pipe dream and you're crazy and my parents were really lovely and supportive. And so we went out there, I did scenes for her. My mom wanted to talk to her alone, so I left. They talked, and Joan said, I really want you to move out here and do this. So really quickly, we had to figure out, because, I was raised, you got to go to college. So I applied to the only college in LA that still had admissions open. I went to meet Joan in February.
And that was USC?
USC.
It was clearly a different time.
Yes, admissions closed. I put all my info and information essays in on the last day, and I got in. And so when I got to LA to start college and start acting, I already had a manager and an agent.
That's insane.
Before I ever set foot in the city. So
where were we in the industry? Was there there were still real physical headshots? There was still,
oh yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, it was, they messed.
So you had to do the whole experience as far as old school, where they delivered
scripts to your front door, messenger service. I had to get a fax machine for sides.
Yeah.
And I had the fax roll of paper. So I would have that bent rolled paper stapled together. That paper, I don't know. Fax paper.
No, it had a name.
But it was so bad.
And you had a Thomas guide.
I had a Thomas guide.
And you had a club for your car.
I was studying Meisner with Janet Alhanti, going to acting classes. I was working privately with Howard Fine, working privately with other people. And I know how lucky I am, because I got there in August 28th. And I had my first job in October on Sliders, which was... Jerry O'Connell was on Sliders. It was a sci-fi show where they slide through different dimensions, kind of like Quantum Leap.
Yeah.
But it was a group of people. And I think it was season 6 or something. Jerry O'Connell had already left the show. And I was wearing a monk's robe. And I lived in this weird dimension where everything is monks. And we're hoarding technology on this giant crystal. Total weird sci-fi stuff.
And how many and this was a series regular?
No. This was a one-off guest star.
Okay. How many auditions? How many auditions up into that?
Probably 5.
Oh my God, you've got to be the luckiest actor.
Luckiest guy in the world.
Met.
And I'll never forget Barbara Clayman. Barbara Clayman was the casting director.
Amazing.
And she had this husky voice. She smoked a lot. And they were like, you're going to get they're Taft-Hartling, you're going to get your SAG card off of this, and you don't understand how insane this is.
Yeah.
That this is all, happening so quickly. And I was like, okay, great. What do I do next?
You didn't know any difference, yeah.
Yeah. And, I do want people to know that it's so hard. And, my entree was so easy.
Wow.
Yeah, yes. And back then, I think it was actually maybe easier, because there were...
I think it was more possible.
It was more, yeah. And if you had the gatekeepers on your side, like managers and the right agents or whatever, you could easily kind of follow and get through the door.
There's no reason not to.
Yeah. And plus, it was one of those things back then. and I think this was before kind of reality TV, right?
Yeah.
And so
Oh, yeah.
it was a very strange thing to move to LA and be an actor. You know, you were kind of crazy if you did
For
something-
sure.
Yeah.
For sure. All my friends.
The market still belonged to us. We weren't competing with influencers and models
Right.
and Instagram and all this
Right.
other reality junk.
And, I actually think that as much as the internet and technology is great, our managers and agents used to have a huge binder
yeah.
with headshots with their clients and with all this stuff. And they used to go have lunch with casting directors
Yeah. It
And they
was
would look
still kind of a small
through
community.
a binder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there was more personal connection. There was, now with, I don't know, it's really hard. And you guys know, way,
I know. Yeah.
you know way more about this than me, but just even the communication with casting
Yeah.
and talent and representation is massively different.
You can't make an impact.
It's
Yeah. I mean, people call and ask for feedback, and I'm just like, I don't have the time.
No, it
Yeah.
doesn't happen
Yeah,
anymore.
and the volume of stuff that we're looking through all the time is just greater. I mean, I always say that it was Surreal Life with Paris Hilton, Nicole Richie. It seemed like when that show came out, people started showing up that just didn't know anything.
Yeah.
And didn't know sides, didn't know how to audition, like just kind of just like, I'm going to be famous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then from there on, it just sort of like, it was like, everybody was like, I can do this.
Yeah.
yeah.
I remember being to that point, which is, totally, this is just a stupid story, but I went to this audition, La Brea and Wilshire, at that cool old building that had the Asahi beer sign on it.
Yeah.
I think it's Samsung
I've
now or
been
something.
to
Yeah.
But that building,
Yeah.
has a lot of casting offices.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's really cool old
Yeah.
Art Deco building. I remember sitting in the waiting room with a bunch of people, and this guy with a camera comes in. And I'm young, I don't know anything about paparazzi. This guy with a camera comes in, he goes, "Hey, did you see Kevin Federline in here?" And I go, "Who?" He goes, "Kevin Federline." I go, "Who's that?" He goes, "You don't know who Kevin Federline is?" And I was like, "No." And he just ran away. And Kevin Federline was auditioning for the same part as me. I think it was for Jarhead. It was a big, big movie.
Wow.
And everybody in the room was like, "What just happened?" And, this guy is getting, real opportunity, and paparazzi
Yeah.
is chasing him all over town. And I just remember going, this business is not concrete. It's not
No.
clear. There's no clear path. There is, this is a very strange.
I don't think people understand, how just strange of a business it is, and how there's no, like, people are always like, want me to come and do a class, and I'm like, dude, I don't know. I can't tell you how. I don't know. If I knew, I would do it. Like, everyone had, like, it's like you were at freaking Sundance by accident.
Yeah.
Went down to and got
Yeah.
a manager. It's just so nuts.
But that's an interesting foundational shift that was occurring that we didn't even realize maybe at the time, is that now Kevin Federline being in
Well, that's what I was
Jarhead
saying.
is not even far-fetched.
Like when you
At the time, it would never even have happened.
Yeah.
Like it wouldn't
Yeah.
occur.
Sure.
Like
it was the path
After-
of
like-
path of getting your headshots, dealing with your managers, dealing with your, there was actually
Yeah.
some sanity, which was still an
Yeah.
insane business, but there was
And
some sanity.
it was still an insane business, but it was one of actors
Yeah.
and cinema and television.
And you really,
wasn't
it
of
seemed like you really had
popularity
to
and-
go around town and show all these casting directors what you were made of.
yeah.
And kind of prove it, and they had to get to know you. And I know that still is there a little, of course, but it seemed like that was almost more like a training ground or a university, or how to test your mettle. Like, you got to prove yourself.
Yeah.
Put in the hours.
No, you and if
Which
you
that
if you
makes
went in,
sense in some weird way for almost any job, is like, can you handle it?
Absolutely.
As opposed to like, well, can you go out and shock and awe and make a brand of yourself and get really super popular and then come in?
you had to knock it out of the park in the room, and you were usually up against 4 guys that were like either bigger than you or and that were in there and wanted it bad too. And you're
Yeah.
I remember being like, dude, he's coming in and reading. Okay,
Yeah.
all right, cool. And then I remember
Want it.
I remember the waiting room. Right, everyone's like, oh. Fuck, he
Yeah.
here? Shit.
Totally.
And it was like you had to go in, and there was like it felt like you had to
Yeah.
you had to deliver.
You had to win it.
You weren't
you had to
just
win it.
against like some person who wasn't there named Twinkle Pussy who has 5 billion followers on Instagram who's already ahead of you. And-
Shout out Twinkle Pussy.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like,
Oh, I'm going to change my handle real quick.
it's like,
Yeah.
wait, she's up for this? Wasn't the breakdown like 50-year-old woman who, but okay, got it. Like, what?
So in this process, was there a lot of like just bad, embarrassing falling on your faces, and how did you learn? How did you because there is that curve that happens, right? Because there isn't anyone saying, "Hey, this is what you do."
Yeah. It's funny because when I first started, I was so naive, and I was, maybe I got some weird advice, or maybe it was good advice. I don't know. But I would go in, I would never be off book. Never.
Yeah.
Well, that
was common for me too.
That was acceptable.
That was actually advised.
Yeah, that was advised.
It was advised to me. And I would always have my pages. I would learn it pretty well.
Yeah.
But I always had my pages, and I was probably, and it might have been cool because it wasn't, rehearsed and finished so much. Maybe it was a little
So that's
fast.
the advice that you were probably given, right? It was like, look, if you're off book, they think that's your final performance.
Yeah.
If you come in and you're still reading, then they think you're still working on it,
Yeah.
you're crafting it. And it's like, if you're off book, they're like, oh, that's what we're going to get.
Sure.
Yeah.
For some reason, I don't know
And
where
that's
that came from.
Weird mental
Yeah.
thing that maybe
Yeah.
kind of worked. Now it's completely different. Now I hate holding paper. I don't want to look down. I don't want to lose eye contact. I want to be so connected. And, those things have, and maybe it's just evolved in what we do in the business over time, but I don't want to break for a second. And maybe that's just my own, like, as an exercise, or, working on my acting muscles. Maybe, look, say I don't get this, I'm just auditioning. I want to do the best work that I can right here, right now. And for better or worse,
I can tell you this, is that the guy that does do that is probably going to get it. The guy that comes in and he has it memorized, he's fully prepared, is probably going to leave is the one that usually typically gets it. And that's what I tell people. They're like, I don't have to be off book. I'm like, you don't, but someone's going to come in and knock it out of the park off book. And
I think that's because now in life, we've lost that space. We've lost that space in between just living and sitting with it.
Yeah.
Like, it has to come instantaneously.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean
Yeah.
by that?
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
So-
I mean, it used to be. I used to tell people, like, you can look down and look back up, and we're with you. Like, if you go down and then you come back up fully, prepared and back in it, we're back with you, and it's fine. But then there's just something I just noticed over time. It's like the guy that comes in, the girl that comes in, that is kind of got a solid performance. Usually ends up getting, at the end of the day, for whatever reason, it's like, oh, I really love that person. It's like, yeah, because they came in fully prepared.
I think everything's coming to us now just so fully formed and prepackaged. I mean, a new business goes up and they've already got amazingly made signs, Instagram logo, Facebook logo. There's no mom and pop chicken scratch till the big sign comes in and start making money. It's already splashy Instagram ready. And I think
pre-branded.
We're getting all of that to us now that I think we're kind of like losing that space in between. So I think that's kind of seems natural that if you come in that way, people are responding to it more.
We'd like to see the movie already done when you come into audition.
Pretty
We'd like
much.
To have it, if you could just show us the final product.
Right.
Well, that's with taping, right? It's like, hey, let's see.
It's pretty much.
Yeah.
And also, I know people say this a lot, but I love taping because I have time and less stress and all that. And I can really, work on it and do a bunch of takes. But we've definitely lost something by being 3D together like we are sitting right here right now, because that 1 minute of me bullshitting with you before and the 30 seconds at the end, you learn a lot about someone really quick.
It makes such a difference.
And, that image up there is fine. But when you're, I don't know, when you're doing a Zoom audition, we've really lost something.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, here's what also too, I think too, it really depends on what space I'm in when I sit down to watch auditions now. If I'm stressed or busy, like, I'm in a good mood, or my experience is different because I'm watching something, I'm taking it in. But when I'm in a room, I'm in a present moment, and I have to pay attention, and I'm kind of get outside of self,
Yeah.
And I think that's the big difference, is that you're kind of doing it live. We're experiencing it together at the same time.
Taping was a weird journey for me because about maybe 10 or so years ago, when it wasn't fully the thing yet, and I had moved back from LA, it was such a amazing time for me because it was like that. I'd had all the time in the world. I was I felt like I was the only one doing it. It was so creatively fulfilling. I could really make my props and my setup, and I really enjoyed it. And people really responded to it. I think it wasn't a big thing, and I felt like I could really stand out and I would get response. Then when it became like pandemic, this is the only way we do anything. Now it's just like it goes into a void. Nobody ever responds to me anymore. And for me, it's a huge stress now because like I have like a fuller life, you know, with a kid and all these other responsibilities. And now it's like, I got to become a filmmaker in, you know, the next 5 hours with lighting and a reader and all that stuff. And so now it's a huge stress. It's become the complete opposite. Now it's like, I want to go to your house where you have a reader and you have the camera and I read for you and we leave. And then I also think the thing that's missing is that 30 seconds before and that 30 seconds after, the exchange of whatever pheromones or the getting to know someone, the maybe them asking you like, I didn't think she read it very well, but maybe if she try it this way and they see something different, then all of a sudden something happens that was unexpected that they're never going to do when they just have the tape.
I know.
It's like 100%. I wish there was some kind of happy medium.
And there's also something for me is I'm going through the day and I'm learning more and more with the directors and the producers, and so I'm able to come out to you guys and say, hey, they're thinking about this, or this is some notes we got, you know what I mean? And so it because it's kind of a collaboration and a creative sort of experience doing a callback, and we're getting different ideas and there's different, you know, comments coming in from all the cooks in the kitchen, and so you guys are getting privy to a lot more information and tidbits of what they're looking for, you know?
Because the notes are so helpful, because with the sides we're getting, it's not any different. It's all a spaghetti or a carbonara. It's, you know what I mean? It's all the same. We're humans. We're telling the same stories.
Yeah.
But it's coming from a different director or a different producer. And I don't quite know what flavor or what tone they're going for. And no one's telling you that.
Well, also, I know this is going to sound really stupid, but when you walk into a room, you know, you see people's shoes.
Yeah.
You know, and that sounds really weird, but you see what people put on their feet. You see, like, some actors will come in and like kick their shoes off and do it barefoot.
Yeah.
You know, there's all kinds of stuff we're missing. Like, okay, 6 Feet Under, the first job that really like set things going for me. I went in, I remember it was like Sunset Gower, I think. But anyway, I was wearing this Pierre Cardin tennis zip up in the electric blue with no shirt under it. I was such a cocky little fuck. And I went in and we started the scene and I laid down on the ground and I was asleep. And they were kind of started giggling because maybe nobody had done that yet, whatever. And they were like, no, it's fine, go. And then there's somebody operating the camera and they can follow me.
Yeah.
And that's something we've lost. But anyway, I remember like I was asleep. Somebody, you know, it was with Rachel Griffiths and the reader did their first line. And I go, I was supposed to be like this really stoner kid. And I kind of wake up and I go, yeah, like Spicoli.
Yeah.
And I got the job, you know?
Yeah.
There's just things like that I feel like, you know, if you really want to spend all day on your tape and get a camera operator and a reader, great. But we can't really always do that. You can't always follow, you know, when we're just self-taping, you know, there's times where I'm like, you know, what'd be great here is if we like did a little move or a little zoom or something.
Yeah.
But, you know, sometimes we're taping with people that aren't
and sometimes
camera people.
Yeah.
Sometimes directors too are like, they tell me, they're like, just shoot, just keep it still, just keep it like in the casting room. Like, I don't need to see them do my job. Like, I don't need to see a movie made. You know?
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Well, and the thing too is like sometimes the sides will call for something, you know, physical or like violence or whatever. And I used to say to other actors, if someone would call me and be like, well, how do I do that? You know, and I would say, you're not going to really do that. Just make the people in the room believe that feeling. So whatever that means to you, just trick that person next to you into feeling that. Like, make them feel a little bit scared.
Sure.
Like, however that is. Like,
sure.
You don't have to act like you're really hit or like you're really going to hit the other actor and really, you know, do anything. Just whatever that is that you're really hurt or whatever makes them believe that something really serious just happened in the room, that they feel that. Then that's achieved it.
That's good advice. Yeah, and
and you can't do that on a tape.
And people tend to come
without the camera move, and the lighting, and this music.
We'll come in to the room and they'll be more worried about, like, you know, there's supposed to be this big action or whatever.
Yeah.
And then it's like they didn't learn any of their lines. And
right.
And they're like, so many questions about like, okay, but when the car crashes, you know, how?
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, we got the car crash. Don't worry about that. You're not gonna be able to do that. Yeah. And they're like, gosh.
Yeah.
Like one of my favorite scenes is True Romance when Michael Rappaport has to audition.
Dude, one of my favorite.
And he goes, so I'm driving.
Yeah.
So I'm driving. Yeah. And I'm like, you don't have to do it.
No.
Don't do it.
Well, here's I always say, don't milk the cow.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, no one tries. Like,
no.
And then everybody comes in, they're like, I'm like, dude, cars don't work like that
Yeah,
anymore.
cars don't work like that anymore.
But also, have you ever seen McConaughey's audition for Dazed and Confused?
I don't know if I have.
I have.
He did it.
Yeah.
He did it, but he did it and was awesome. He just goes,
Like that.
and he heart barely moved or didn't move at all.
That's
And I was like,
fine.
And I was
That's
like, he
great.
made it look so good. It's not cheesy.
That's
And I
great.
learned a great lesson from that. I had to do an audition once with a friend of mine, really great actor. And I can't remember what it was, but like I didn't want
That's
to
when
do...
you name drop. You're like, that's when you go, Robert De Niro, good friend of mine. had to do an audition with him. He's a good friend.
I'll think about it. But anyway, there was something like I got hit or it was a gunshot or something. And I was like, I don't want to do it. It's just going to look cheesy. And he goes, do it and fucking commit to it and make it the best fucking gunshot. Like show them what you're going to do and make it amazing. And that really changed things for me because I was always of the mindset like, look, I'm going to do the dialogue. I'm going to do all the emotion. I'm going to do all the stuff that makes sense in this tiny frame that's an audition. And then he said, no, like do it and do it well. And I thought that was really
So,
interesting.
Unless it's
but it's like for Halloween, right? We did 3
Unless
Halloween.
it's a car crash and you have to go upside down.
For Halloween, I made
Or Michael
everybody do
Bay.
their
Or Michael
I
Bay.
go, okay, and I had to see the scream and the die, right? And
Yeah.
I made everybody do the life leaving the eyes, right? Everyone
Right.
had to do it because everyone gets killed in Halloween. Yeah.
Huge moment.
And that was and
it's
it's
a
fun.
huge
And it's
moment.
fun, right?
Yeah.
But I believe if you know your frame, and I think you're okay to say this to the camera operator in the room, say, hey, what's my frame? And then like put your hand right there or just like easily just kind of suggest. That's fine.
yeah.
It's the people that are like,
Yeah. No, I've had to freak out plenty. In
Hitchcock
auditions.
movie.
Yeah.
yeah, totally.
Yeah. Or if you're auditioning for Michael Bay, make sure you go big.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Good to know.
It was like, okay, you're operating on someone and then glass flies in your eye. Okay. And so I was like, like trying to make it all realistic or whatever.
Bigger.
And he was like, Heather, have you seen my movies? And I was like, and I'm thinking, no, actually not really. And he was like, no, come on, glass flies in your eyes. And I was like, oh, okay. Oh. And he was like, no, glass flies in your eye. And I literally like leapt out of the chair and fell onto the floor. And he was like, okay, better. And I was like, oh my God, no.
Were you in the room with him?
Yes.
I'm surprised he didn't throw glass in your eye.
Terrible. It was awful.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's wild.
It was awkward.
I'm going to save my Michael Bay stories for off camera.
Can we cut that part?
It's wise.
So you keep referring to being cocky.
Does he?
Yeah, and being.
I was so cocky.
So where did that come from? Like, were you having just great experiences in the room, or?
I think it was naivete. I honestly think
How old were you? 20s?
when I first went out there, I was 18. You know, I was here studying, kind of doing little things, 15 to 18, went to college. Yeah, I was 18. And I don't know. I just thought, I remember like, you know, one time like wearing this weird headband and like boots and like a wife beater. And God, if you saw a photo of me on that audition, I almost got that movie. I was like, what was I doing? What was I thinking? I don't know. There was just sort of this confidence that I had that, you know, I also, you know, you change, you grow up, you get older, all these different things. It wasn't planned. It wasn't designed. It was just who I was at the time. And maybe it's what I thought was gonna, you know, work or get me jobs or make me unique. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I think because like even like Swingers came out and like people were making it, and it was just sort of like you thought there was a tendency to be like, okay, I'm gonna be a star, so I'm gonna act like a star.
Sure.
After
Yeah.
happening to you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, to me, around what years was this?
When I first started, it was like 90, 98, 99.
This is the best time in LA.
Totally the best time in LA.
Yeah. I mean, like the late 90s, 2000s were just like, it was like, because it was like this world of like eclectic, strange artists that moved there, and there was like everybody was like, there was good scenes of people all trying to make it, and we're all going to the same bars, and you know,
It was.
and it was like everyone, I don't know, was supportive, and there was no phone, like you know,
It was cool.
yeah, you had no worries about being filmed or you know,
Right.
yeah.
Right. I know.
Yeah.
It was all post Northridge, post riots, post OJ. We had gotten all out of our system.
Even before that, like
and it had all gotten like spruced up, and
Yeah.
everybody was riding high.
But it's true. There's something with social media now when, you know, friends are together, like you're saying, going out, going to the bars, going to dinner, whatever it is, that was very free and fun.
So free.
And now even that has been like, now we're all self-conscious in like making videos or photos and everything is part of it. And that's weird.
Yeah.
So weird.
Like having your life, your friends and your relationships and your nightlife. And that was different. It was very different.
Yeah.
Now it's like, hey, can everybody look at this and approve? Can I put this up? I need everybody's approval.
Yeah.
Because some people are, somebody's like, doesn't want to be on your social, there's this whole, process and it's like so weird.
Dude,
Yeah.
I mean, I go back to pagers, right? And it was like when I got a page and I was like, I knew I had to kind of clean my act up and get ready because I had an audition. And it was like, I could be in Mexico, I could be anywhere. I'd be like, okay, I got to get back to LA.
You were talking about not having a cell phone in the early days, and I had a pager. Suburbia, Richard Linklater's Suburbia, actually got the call that it wasn't going any further. I was at a Chinese restaurant in Austin. My pager went off, and I went to the payphone inside the Chinese restaurant when she called me from the production office and was like, "It's not going to go any further, I'm afraid. They're going with Bogosian's pick or whatever." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And I went back to my like lo mein when I was having with Darren. I got let down by a pager via payphone.
Kind of
well,
awesome.
at least you get like let down. Now you don't hear anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you just wonder forever.
Yeah.
Oh, there's something cool about that.
Is your management and your team now, do they like pressure you to do social and get your socials up or do stuff like that? Or do you have people that do it or?
Well, not now, but I remember when Instagram came, I didn't want to do any of it. And then the reason I got on Twitter was because of that crazy deep horizon oil spill in the Gulf.
Oh yeah.
And I love the ocean, and I was so keyed up about it. I was like, maybe I can do something if I had some people listening on this social media network, whatever. So I got on Twitter, and then when Instagram came, I was like, no, I don't want to do more of this. So I said no to that, and that was the only time agents sat me down at a lunch and said, like, you have to get Instagram. I was like, okay. But and then more come, and I've resisted them because I can't do 6 of them. I can't do 3. Like, I can feed one of them.
Yeah.
But I kind of won't, and it doesn't make me happy. It doesn't. I don't think it's fun.
I don't think anyone's ever said it's me.
Yeah.
Oh, it makes me so happy. I love it. Here's the one thing I do like. I actually do like editing and putting music on something and actually feel like I'm doing something creative.
I like that part.
But if it's just a photo or it's not, it just doesn't.
Have you seen, did it make a difference in your sort of efforts to save the ocean and some of the?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yes. And especially in the early days of social media, I feel like people were much more, they were listening, they were donating, they were retweeting and spreading the message. Now that's kind
It's
of
just
not
a
the same.
clutter.
Was your team okay with that, or did they say, "Hey, you need to not have opinions about shit"?
No, they were. And I think because that was about nature.
Yeah.
And that one was fine. And I've never been kind of very soapboxy and into, politics and, telling people what to do. But the one thing that I have always kind of gone back to is the ocean and how can we, not pollute it as much as we are.
Yeah.
I'm not terribly into doing a lot of nonprofit stuff, but when something feels like overwhelming, then I go, okay, I know that I need to say something.
Mm-hmm.
But
Okay.
I've never liked to jump on a
This could be your time.
bunch of
you can
causes.
say something now if you want. So now, cut to back then, cut to now. You're still having to audition and read and everything, right?
Yeah.
What's some of the things that are the big differences now you feel that you've learned or that you bring to the room now?
The first thing that always jumps out is that I want to do something that's different and unique. And if I can find something that's natural in me that I feel like, they're sitting there watching actor after actor after actor say the same lines.
And do it the same way, the obvious choice.
And that's fine because that's just, look.
It's not fun.
John.
It's not.
But, this is what we spend our time, thinking about. I'm always looking for, is there, even if it's, some movement or some business or just something weird. I like weird stuff.
I do
And when
too.
I watch movies and actors and I see something weird and unexpected, I go, whoa, that was cool. And, I feel like that's why Adam Driver, when he first started
Yes.
breaking out, he was so interesting because he would just go, blah, 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 or like jump up and down,
Yeah.
or he would do all this weird stuff in auditions. And everybody's like, who is this guy? He's so weird.
Yeah.
And he's captivating. And, really, and, you're on the other side of it. So tell me what you think. But I just feel like so much of this is first of all, they need to be good. You have to be a good actor. But are they going to hold our attention? Are we going to want to take this journey for 2 hours or, 45 minutes if it's a show and care about this character? And, so those are sort of my...
I think so many people try to get the job, and so they're trying to think, what do these people want,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
How do I do this right? And that's not what I'm paying you for. I'm paying you for your humanity, your artistic sort of vision, and what's going to come through your cloth, and how is it going to be authentically you, right? How is your painting going to make, and this is a lot too with like the directors I'm with, they're looking at it as the whole thing. And they're like, I need this color. I need this,
Yes.
And then also too, they want to see like, look, when I'm in the editing room, I want 10 takes different, I want to know that I can go, pick that one or this one, you know what I mean? And not the same way. And so it's like, I think that's like the work, right? That you guys do is sitting with it and trying to find it like, and figuring out if it's like how do you get into it? Is it a piece of clothes, or is it just sitting with it, or is it like just memorizing, or like you just sit and meditate on the ideas?
I mean, there's all kinds of things. It's a lot. When I have some time, it always ends up being better because I've been able to think about a character and think about, really get into the DNA instead of, when it's rushed and I'm like, okay, I got to get these words.
Well, and I got 6 of them. Like, remember
Yeah.
back in the day, it used to be like, okay, I got 6. 6. I gotta drive to Lancashire. I gotta go
Yeah.
over here, and
Yeah.
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 And you're waiting for your fax. Your fax ink goes
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for me, I love to kind of really sit with it for a little while, maybe jot down some notes, maybe get inspired by something, a guy walking down the street past my coffee shop,
Yes.
or, something. It could be a look, or it could be something internal. It could be something much deeper.
So it's a ping kind of, right? Something gives you a
you
ping.
can key off on. But then also what you have to do, I feel like, is be careful, because there's been times where I'm like, oh, I got this character. This guy's
Right.
going to be fucking cool. And then it's not me.
Yeah.
And it doesn't land at all.
You're playing a
And
caricature.
Yeah. And I'm going, oh, this guy's so cool. I'm going to get this job. And then nothing. So you always have to remember that it's my beating heart and, my brain and all this stuff. If I'm like, character acting is cool, but if you lose your own authenticity or what makes you different, it's going to be flat. Nobody's going to care.
Yeah, there has to be truthfulness and humanity, and it's like, yeah, you can play a character, but it has to come from within out. And most, sometimes you have to do something to find that in you, but then it has to grow.
Yeah.
They're always like, Austin Nichols, he's great, but every audition he has a switchblade. I don't understand why he has a switchblade.
That's funny because I did a tape yesterday with this switchblade.
Did you really?
Yeah, well, a pocket knife.
That's so weird.
Yeah.
That is weird. That is weird.
You're weird now. You're
Yeah.
like all.
I'm kind of like that.
What do you think of props?
Well, listen, I have a whole closet at the office full of props, and I believe I would much rather you have something real, right? So that you don't have to
Yeah.
mime it. Like, I know the mime thing just isn't. So it's like, look, if it's a piece of bread, I can afford, for you to bite and smile, or if it's a fake gun or what, I can get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'd much rather, and plus it's like we're playing make believe, so might as well let's make it believable as possible. So I don't mind props again, but people have come in with like the real knives or the real guns, and you're like, dude, that's not cool.
No, I agree. As long as it's simple and it's not, too much
Yeah.
and big and weird.
Yeah.
If that's why I think a knife or a gun helps, because, the second you do this,
Yeah.
you're going, oh God, I don't have anything in my hand and they're staring at me. And then my hands are shaking and it's terrible. So
Yeah.
if it's small, simple, little, also I love off camera.
Yeah, off
Yeah,
cameras are really
same.
I love
Yeah.
like a little keys, a jingle, or, something that makes you go, what are they doing off camera?
Yeah.
And also it doesn't make it cheesy and proppy if you're just off, like right there, kind of like messing with something. It
Our
somehow
imagination goes
I'm
straight
a
to
fan
seeing
of
the
the
thing.
purse.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I always,
purse?
yeah. I always have the purse.
Nice.
There's always something in my purse, getting a cigarette or
Yeah.
getting a lipstick out
Yeah.
or something.
I remember one of the only times I ever booked 2 things on the same day. I had 2 auditions on the same day. And I did the same damn thing with my keys. And I booked them both, and I was like, oh God, I'm going to use my keys
on
in
everything.
every fucking audition.
It's like your good luck.
Well, that happens a lot too, right? Someone gets something and they think that every audition should be that way, whether it's tone, style, or whatever, right?
It's-
like kids are wrecked because they all think everything should be Disney, like Disney, and it's like you're coming in for a movie. We don't want over the top.
Yeah.
They think that's what works because that's what gave them a job,
And and anytime you start thinking like that, right? You're like, oh, well, this worked before. This works. People respond to this. Is a trap. Because like it doesn't work again.
Yeah.
And
No.
there's this whole, I always say there's a little bit of magic in what we do, and it doesn't make sense. It's not concrete, like we were
There's
saying
a whole
before.
ton of magic, just like
And-
music or art or painting or anything. There's a ton of
And,
magic.
there's been times where, I wasn't that prepared, and maybe I did have to look down, and I was a little messy, and maybe I was tired, or maybe I was slightly hungover, and I was just
sick, vacation, another job that's like trying to, all those things you get off yourself, I think.
Exactly. You
Yeah.
get out of your own way, and you're kind of messy, and it can work.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And that's hard to do because I want to be super prepared, and I want to be, because when you do show up for the gig, a lot of actors will, fight about this and, say, they're better when they're this or that. But like, I like to be prepared, and I like to not be worried about wasting time and having to everybody going like this. Oh shit, we got to move on. But there is some things
Well,
happen when you're a little messy.
So now you're directing, right? You're directing. Was it once you started with One Tree Hill?
Yep.
And then you're doing Walker.
Yep.
And so now you're on the other side.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And how is that? Are you like, God damn actors?
Yes and no. The thing that it's such a delicate balance because you don't want somebody to come in and just, like you said, you don't want them to do the take 6 times the same way. It may be good, but you might not get something great.
Yep.
And so you do want an actor who is going to try something different or surprise you or, whatever it is. And so I'm not going to ask my actors to be unprepared or be messy, but
You need flexibility. You need creativity.
Sure.
It's a dance, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, you do want to capture, lightning in a bottle. You want something that you go, oh, wow, that was so weird and like interesting. And like, that's the take I'm going to use. So it's a balance.
I know. So how is it for you now on the other side? Are you learning a lot as an actor? Are you like sitting through the auditions and watching all the tapes, or is that?
Definitely. Watching tapes is, I wish more actors could watch
So do I.
tapes.
Well, that's
Yeah.
what I always tell actors. I'm like, dude, you can come sit.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
watch. You can come sit in the room. Like you'll learn so much.
Really
like,
quickly.
All actors, I'm like, dude, run camera. You'll learn so much.
Yeah. Cause you want to give every tape, your full attention, but there'll be, 6 or 10 of them. And and also you're prepping with your DP and you're texting with your production designer, or somebody's trying to call you. And then all of a sudden you went, oh, pause, shit, I've missed, 30 seconds of that actor's tape. I'm such a dick. I should not do that. I need to pay attention to this actor's tape. But sometimes they just kind of, oh, well, that feels the same as the other one, and that feels the same as the other one. And then all of a sudden you go, oh, who's this? Somehow they got my attention. And that's what we were talking about earlier. Like, what are you going to do that's unique? What are you going to do that doesn't sound
Which
like
is so
another
hard
audition?
because that would have never happened if they were coming into the room, right?
Yeah. And the directing thing, like you can say like, hey, try this. And,
Yeah.
And what now as directing, it's like, this is just one small little thing. I mean, it's not like as an actor, they think this is everything. It's like, dude, you don't understand. Like, and we sat down with Christian and John, just how much goes into the financing and goes into the production. And it's just like, I need you, not worry about you. Like,
Yes.
I need you to do your thing. Cause like, I have so many other things to worry about.
Yes.
But for me, watching tape and in the room, man, it takes me like 10 seconds and I can tell, nope, not honest, not truthful.
Yeah.
Like, I can pick up on it real quick. I'm like, okay, if someone even is, if I can just feel the humanity, see the humanity, hear the humanity, and they're not maybe right for it or not doing it right, I'll watch.
Yeah. It's also really great. Steve Robin, who's the EP director on Walker, says this all the time. He says he will freak out about a line or about a moment, and the actors will show up, and then it suddenly just dissolves because the actors nailed it, and he didn't know how they were going to do it, and they did it and fixed his problem. So one thing I want in every actor is confidence. And I want, even if it's a tiny role, I want them to come in and just go, oh no, I got this. I know what I'm doing. You know, a lot of actors, inexperienced actors will come, or they're playing a small role. They'll feel small because they're playing a small role.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll kind of stand over and kind of let the leads do everything. And then they'll kind of do their thing. I want that actor who has one line to own their space. And just, I don't, like you said, I don't want to have to worry about them. And that confidence in their contribution can change everything. Because then you're not going over, like when you want to be focusing on the meat, then you have to go over to this actor and you'd be like trying to figure out what to say to them to get them, you know, everybody.
It's sometimes the one-liners that are the most, because that's, we're kind of taking the biggest risk and you don't maybe have the most experience, right?
So
Ping Pong Summer, he was saying there was just he didn't think about it and there was a guy had to walk across and he was like, oh yeah, that guy's fine, you know, walk across. And the guy was like, and it like took up like half the day just trying to get the guy to walk normal.
Yeah. No, and you do, and you end up spending all this time on something that, you know, is not terribly important.
Tom Sizemore, rest in peace, talks about Oliver Stone. Oliver Stone was like, look, I got this table, man, and I got this leg, and I got Woody Harrelson, and I got this leg. And he just kept going over, and he goes, I need the table, I need your leg. And he's like, Oliver, I'm not going to fuck up your table. And that's it. It's like, dude, I need you. I need my DP. I need everybody. I need Crafty. I need everybody to show up and do their job.
Yeah.
And if the people that come in and give that confidence and you feel, and this is a lot when I used to work, was just like people would give me jobs because they're like, look, I know he's going to show up. He's not going to fuck it up.
Yeah.
And I got more jobs because they're like, he's going to show up and he'll be prepared. He's not going to fuck up.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And that's a big deal. It's just knowing, I think you get so much work, right? Because they're like, she does such heavy lifting and all the stuff she does. It's like, we need someone to crack their heart open and, you know, completely cry. And they're like, well, let's call Heather.
Yeah.
Because she delivers like every time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's huge. It's huge. And you need that dependability. You don't have time.
Yeah.
You don't have time to, you know, some people may get lucky and they may have a whole day to do a scene. You know, Paul Thomas Anderson is my favorite filmmaker in the world, and he may be able to spend half a day or a day on a scene, and that's fantastic, but most people can't do that. And, you know, we have to go.
Well, especially in TV world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're pressured. It's like, I mean, you got to go. And it's weird too. How is it walking into a show because it's already got a tone? It's already got like how do you like, I've always wondered and I wanted to talk to a TV director.
As a director.
Yeah. Like how do you like, okay, I don't.
There's 7 directors on this one show. And
it's a blessing in some ways because so many people know the show.
Yeah.
And there's safety in that. There's security in that. But this is what I've been trying to tell people lately. Like my sensibility, I watch everything. I watch a lot of TV. But I love film. I love cinema. And I love drama. And I love a sort of, I guess, in television, a more cable streaming sensibility. And what ends up happening is, even though you know what show you're making, sometimes you will make what you like. You will make what you watch because you think that, and it naturally happens, and you just do what you are drawn to. So there's been times where I had, you know, a great scene cut together and I did it my way, but that's not what ended up airing because it wasn't right for the show. And, you know, directors, a lot of directors now, they'll move to different TV shows back into movies, whatever it is. And some are really good at that. But I really believe that you make who you are.
Mm-hmm.
And it can't always be helped. You can go, sure, yeah, like I know I'm making this kind of a show and it needs to be, you know, quick and paced up and
basically,
cut and all that stuff. But there might be a scene where you go, but I really want to hold on them for a while for this it's such a good moment. And then you see it air and you're like, damn it.
Yeah.
They took it out.
Yeah.
So you go in and edit and do a pass and then they come in afterwards or?
Yeah. I mean, it goes first, it's the director. Well, the editor does their cut, the director does their cut, and then it'll go to, every show's different, but it'll generally go to the directing EP after me. And then it goes to the showrunner.
Okay.
And sometimes it'll even go to multiple EPs before it gets to boss showrunner.
Yeah.
And so that's a lot. And because the showrunner has so little time, they need other people to get it as close as possible so that they could go in and just do
and they're not
snip.
as close to it, and they can say, look, that's a great shot, but it's not the show. Yeah. Like we got to, you know, we got to stick true to what the tone and the theme is. But then it's also the challenge of how do you make it how do we know it's directed by Austin, right?
Right.
Like, how do you put your print on it?
I mean, I think there are moments, in the first episode I did of Walker, I had this helicopter take off, and first of all, I got to shoot.
First of all, you got to shoot it.
I got a helicopter,
I was going to say.
which was such a blessing, and then I got a second helicopter to put a camera on, which is crazy that we got two. And, for a little TV show that doesn't happen. So we got really lucky. But I said, I really want to do this thing where when the helicopter takes off, we start on this old boombox and the guy slides the tape in, closes it, hits play. We start to pull out and we see sitting in a lawn chair with a cowboy hat and a beer. And then we see the helicopter and the helicopter takes off. And that wasn't in the script. And they let me do it. Everybody loved the idea. They said, yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. And it was everybody's favorite shot in the episode. And, in my next episode, I didn't really find...
Like, Austin, you have two helicopters, okay? And you want to shoot a fucking boombox?
But like in the next episode it didn't naturally happen. I didn't find a place to add that stamp.
Yeah.
And it doesn't always work out. When it's organic and it works, it's amazing. But, it doesn't always happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when you direct your own feature,
yeah,
then it will be able to happen.
In every scene.
Right?
Every shot. No,
and
yeah.
surely this is coming soon.
Yes. I'm trying to make a movie here in Austin. We're raising money. It's about our beloved Lions Municipal Golf Course, which, there's been this Save Muni campaign to save the golf course for years.
Yeah.
They've done a really good job of protecting it. And, but it's not about this story so much as that's our sort of door in. And we're making a comedy about a bunch of underdogs, at a crappy, underfunded public golf course that's very beloved. And it's kind of like dodgeball. They want to save the gym. They want to save the course. So that's sort of...
I'll just say it has a little bit of Dazed and Confused influence from, in
That
it
sounds
as well.
great.
Yeah, it's great. And it's a love letter to Austin for sure.
Yeah, there's a lot of Austin in it, a lot of fun characters. And the one thing that I also have been telling when I meet directors of photography and production designers and the different people I'm meeting, there's this old movie called Local Hero with Peter Riegert and Burt Lancaster from, I think it's 89.
You just went cinephile on us. I don't know what you're talking about.
No, people don't know this movie, but it's a gem and you got to watch it. So basically Peter Riegert works for this big oil company. Burt Lancaster's the CEO and he's in Houston and he's tasked to go to Scotland or Ireland to buy this cute little beach town because they're going to turn it into a, oil mega jetty dock / pipeline. All the, the oil's moving in. And he gets there and he starts meeting all these locals and they're so quirky and they're so funny. And it's this idyllic, beautiful little seaside town. And by the end of the movie, they're like, we can't destroy this place.
Yeah.
And it's the most heartwarming, charming movie. The script's kind of a mess. The movie's not like what we've gotten so good with story. And even audiences are so much more savvy that, this script is like not perfect by any means, but they made such a gem.
Aww.
And everybody's got to watch it.
What's it called?
Local Hero.
All right. Local Hero, guys.
It's really good.
All right.
I know my husband will watch it. He
Yeah.
loves watching undiscovered gems
So that's
like
a little
that.
inspiration for us.
Awesome. Well, we'll look for it. And dude, we appreciate you coming.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So great to be here.
Awesome.
Really fun.
I can't wait to see your Mooney movie.
Thank you.
Yeah. it'd be
Anything else
awesome.
coming up you want to promote? Or any causes you want to talk about?
I did this movie with Tyler Perry in Atlanta called 6888, and it should be coming out soon. I just did ADR a few weeks ago. And so Kerry Washington found this story. It's like Hidden Figures. It's one of these stories about these African-American women that's amazing that no one put in history books. And she found this story. She took it to Tyler Perry. And so in World War II, the mail stopped for a really long time, like maybe 2 years. And there was warehouses in England full of dirty, molding mail.
Wait, letters from soldiers back home?
Both.
Okay.
And it was just sitting there, and because they didn't want to spend money on the mail, they're like, we need to allocate this money for tanks. Screw the mail. So Roosevelt and his wife, Eleanor Roosevelt, was like, we got to fix this problem. Nobody wanted to fix it. It was this monumental task. And the 6888, these black women, the first black women in the war ever. They didn't want to give them a real job. They didn't think they could do anything. And they tasked them with fixing the mail problem, and they crushed it like in a fraction of the time.
Wow.
And it's this really, inspirational, cool story. I
kind of feel like the USPS could use that now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
But so that's coming out soon, and that's what's happening.
Awesome,
now.
man.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
thanks for coming.
Our show today was recorded in studio by the good folks at Record ATX. Check them out at recordatx.com. Our theme music is produced by Jonathan Price. You can check out some of the sounds he makes with his project, The Mid-Cities, on Spotify. Follow, subscribe, and smash that like button if you see one. Thanks so much for listening, and we'll see you guys next time.